And I think about my life in California, and I think at the end of the day, I was totally exhausted, running around like crazy. And I think, what was I doing? I probably went to Target, did a play date, I ran this errand, I was buying supplies for some stupid party that would have made no difference if I did it. You know, like, there was so much that I was doing, but it wasn't meaningful. So now, fast forward, I'm here. At the end of the day, I'm exhausted, just like I was in California. But what did I do? I grew my own food. I homeschooled my kids. I did something with my community. I did meaningful things. So yeah, I'm still working really hard. I'm probably working harder, but what I did actually has meaning now.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here still in Eastern Tennessee. And guys, that property over there, that's where we were last video. We're actually across the street at the neighbor's house. I'm telling you, this place is filled with like-minded folks growing their own food. It's been amazing to see. If you don't know what we're doing, we are traveling across the nation. We are telling the stories of homesteaders across the nation, how we're returning to our roots, looking to the past, and learning again how to grow. Guys, there's a movement happening in this nation, and we're here to document it. We're calling it Tales of the 21st Century American Homesteader. Stay tuned and join us. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and join our journey. It's gonna be amazing.
Hi, I'm Shannon and this is Eric, and we run Forage and Feast Farm here in East Tennessee. We pasture raise and grow beyond organic all of our food, our meat, our gardens, and we are working hard to try and raise food for our family and also affect our community to do the same.
So y'all had Joel Salatin come out.
Yep.
We did.
And you did like Four Corners said y'all did like a whole smoker setup and had a party.
Alan brought his
whatever.
smoker wagon over and got to cook for him.
Joel
his
was
meat.
here for 2 days.
Yep.
So what information, you know, how was that?
It was phenomenal. I mean, it was 2 days. Each day was about 9 hours straight of just information. He walked through every inch of this 50 acres. He flagged out where he would put in roads. He told us how to do the water systems according to what we have going on here.
Wow.
Talked about rotational grade, where he would put things, where he would build a corral, and he went over our business ideas, you know, talking about a mobile store. We pitched that to him, and he was able to reframe a couple of my ideas to make it a little more successful.
So cool.
And I mean, everything you could go over, we went over with him.
Is that something he normally offers, or okay?
He does offer it.
Okay.
It's a fee.
So for people interested, you know, they're just getting their homestead started, or they got raw land. How do you do something like that? You go to his website?
Emailed him.
Okay.
Yep, you just email him. He's saved us tens of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
He helped us find our tractor. I mean, yeah, he's helped us do so much. And I'll tell you what made us say yes to this, because it's a fee, right?
Sure.
It's a cost. We were considering it. We just didn't know. We went to the Homesteaders of America conference and we said, okay, we're going to try and get our questions answered at this conference. And if we don't, then we'll hire him. And so the last talk of the conference was Joel, and he's in the big tent, and we're sitting there, and I left to go just find my kids. And I ran into this woman who runs a makeup company, and she said, hey, we have what you have. We have like 40 acres. We tried to put in water systems and roads, and we did it all wrong. We're paying tens of thousands of dollars to fix the mistake that we made because we didn't do it right. And that was I'm like, okay, I'd rather pay a large amount of money that's less than mistake money and have Joel come and tell us how to do everything right.
So cool.
So he came out of the tent when Joel was done talking, and I said, how was it? And he said, if there's one thing I learned is we need to hire Joel. And I was like, okay, there we go. We emailed him that night, and he emailed right back and said, I have a cancellation in 2 weeks. And we were like, we had just moved to our land a couple weeks before that. Mm-hmm. So it was just perfect timing, and he came out and it was a full overhaul, and that's been really, and I will say, every once in a while you want to deviate from what he said, because it's like, I don't think so, we'll do it this way. And every time we go, there's a reason Joel told us to do it that way.
Yeah. The reason is wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Time and wisdom.
Yeah, time, and he's done time on the farm. Just go with that.
Just,
as
do
much
it.
as you might want to change, just
even if it doesn't make sense, just do it.
Yeah.
We had kind of like this inspiration, even back in California, for a mobile organic style grocery store. But it was kind of didn't make sense, because in California you've got you got organic everywhere.
Right.
There's not really a need for it, but we had this weird inspiration to do it. So that kind of sat until we got here, and all of a sudden we look around, and the nearest, I don't like calling Dollar General grocery store, but out here it is deemed the grocery store. So that's down the street, but that's not real food at all. Literally, it's not real. So if you want some actual food, you have to drive about 45 minutes to an hour to get food. And then if you want it to be organic, it needs to be a little further. And so, you know, when we first got here, we're driving far, we're shipping in misfits and I mean, we're just like trying to like bring in food. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. At the same time, I'm looking at, there's a ton of other people who have moved in here from other states. They're all driving out to Knoxville for this food. So I'm seeing two things happening. I'm seeing a big group of people who's driving really far to access food. And then I'm also seeing the local people here who have settled into eating 100% processed food, and that's not okay. So, you know, you've got kind of a ministry almost of food, and then you've also got just a supply and a demand. And so all of a sudden that drive for the mobile market came back, and we're like, this is where it's supposed to be, you know? Sometimes I think God burns a desire in your heart, and as go-getters, we're always like, I got the desire, let's do it right now, you know? And sometimes I think he's like, no, just think about it. Think about it for a little bit. I've got it coming, just think about it, you know? And so that kind of birthed out. When Joel came out and did an assessment on our farm, we were able to pitch this idea, and he was able to hone in. He said, you know what? Your vision is that you're gonna grow all the food and make all the products and do it. He's like, that's too much work. There's so many farms around you doing amazing things. Sell from the other farms. Give them a platform to sell. Create a cohesive market that is multiple farms. And I loved that idea. And he's right. You know, we sell our meats and we sell, you know, some tinctures and things that I make, but I'm supporting a couple other farmers to be able to sell on my store, and I love that, you know. And so then we thought it's got to be mobile because we're in the middle of nowhere, you know. So I want to be able to reach as many people as I can. And we happen to have this 24-foot car hauler trailer that we moved out here in. We used it as a moving truck, and it's sitting in the back. And Eric said, "Why don't we just use that?" And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so we renovated it, turned it into a store, put some shelving and some furniture in there, and painted it, and, you know, stained the floors, and just made it like a little room. And people seem to be impressed. You know, it's different. People haven't seen that before. We're hoping it's not just a novelty, but that we do have some repeat customers. There's certain places we go to every single month, and I do have people coming back, and they're relying on my groceries, you know, my items. And so that's really encouraging. So it's picking up, and people are starting to, you know, want it. And I like seeing that.
Not all the way? Yeah.
Our vision was to bring local, sustainable, high-quality meat to what would be a food desert. The closest grocery store to us is about 40 miles away.
Yeah.
If you wanted anything organic, pasture-raised, grass-fed, you're looking at driving to Knoxville, which is about an hour and a half from us here.
Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, go ahead.
And we can attest to that. We've been here for about a month, and really the closest places around here that are convenient are like Dollar Generals, that type of stuff.
And that's not real food.
Yeah, that's not real food. It's all processed. Well, one, it's pretty much all processed food, but it's a level worse than that. It's just all bad processed food. And so I love the vision of trying to, you know, provide healthy food for a community that otherwise wouldn't have access to it. So,
well, and the other thing we've noticed is that, especially there's a lot of people moving in here, and a lot of people they're caring about the stress of the animal. They want to make sure they're cared for until those last moments.
yeah.
You know, and they want to make sure things are done with quality. And so there are a lot of processors. Not all of them care about all of those things. And so sometimes we get farmers in who say, you know, I want a farm kill. I want the least amount stress. I want them to be happy with me until their last moment. Sure, we can accommodate that because that's a value we have, you know. Because our standards are so high, I'm not going to lower my standards for a customer, you know. So yeah, we try and make this the standard that we have on our farm, which is, we feel, pretty high.
We're also not going to allow a sick animal to come through here. So some processors, they'll get a cow that, you know, like we saw some infection on that one.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We looked at the rest of the meat. It was simply just maybe some kind of a bronchial or some kind of a chest infection. It hasn't spread to the rest of the meat yet, so that animal's okay. Sometimes it's not that way. Sometimes the whole animal is just starting to rot. I wouldn't eat it, and we'll call the customer and say, hey, it's probably better for you if we throw this animal away. It's totally up to you, but we want to give you the opportunity to let you know that's something that we wouldn't ingest.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of the 10, they tell us to go ahead and toss it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens. There is a processor, and they're known for actually bringing in your sick animals. So the animals that we throw away, this processor keeps, and it's all legal, it's USDA, and sells these animals to your fast food restaurants, to your grocery stores. These are animals that have a terrible smell. They're literally rotting. They might have wounds or other issues, maybe not even walking. We're not interested in anything like that.
And guys, that is why you want to buy from people. But it's not about whether meat is organic anymore, really.
Right.
It's about knowing where you're buying from. If I can come to you as a consumer and know that information, that people don't know that.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I didn't know that, and so if I can come to you as a consumer and ask those questions, you know, why would I buy anywhere else?
Our eyes have been opened up quite a bit to the industry practices that it's just pretty amazing. So our standards are higher than what the state requires and what the USDA requires in most cases. There are some things that, you know, we're not USDA here. We're happy with dealing with customers one-on-one and being able to make decisions without a USDA inspector telling us how to treat someone else's property, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what that is, is someone's property.
You're able to go above and beyond because you don't have tons and tons of animals running through here on a daily basis, whereas if you have a processor that's trying to, you know, feed tons of people out there.
Yeah.
And so really, what's the answer there? The answer is we need more of you guys all across the nation.
That's right.
You know,
We encourage people to buy straight from farmers. We have people asking, they think we sell meat. We don't, because we're not USDA, but we're always willing to connect them with the farmers that process with us. I know how everyone raises it. If you want grain finished, you want grass fed, if you want organic, no vaccines, I know who does it, and I'll give you their number. You know, we're always trying to encourage people to buy straight from the farmer, you know.
so cool.
So we're realizing that because of all of this, from one reason or another, things are a little crazy right now. Things are only getting a little crazier with the food industry. And you really need to be able to know your local farmer and buy from them. Start practicing that now. And so that is why we started a trading post. We want a trading post, a place where all of our local community can come and sell what they have. We live in the mountains. Tucked in here are all these homesteads making amazing things. There's someone doing, you know, canning of pickles and jams, and it's not sprayed and it's grown on their farm. That's an amazing product.
Yeah.
There's people doing great beef and chicken and pork and salves and tinctures. I mean, there's all these people doing it. And so what we want to do is bring together everyone once a month to start buying from their neighbor, but what we really want is that other communities are doing this. And so we really have the vision that we're starting this for our community, and we're figuring out, you know, how does this work so that we can encourage other communities to do trading posts.
So cool.
You need to start buying from your local neighbor. You just kind of have to.
Yeah.
Start practicing that now, and you can buy, sell, trade, however anybody wants to do it, you know.
So you're taking this, what you were saying is you're taking this field over here, turning it into, if someone doesn't know what a trading post is, what does this look like?
I mean, really, you're talking about a farmer's market without all the regulation.
Without the regulation.
Farmers markets are highly regulated. A lot of people have a hard time getting in. I know with the store I do, I've gotten denied many times for one reason or another. This is a place where I'm not saying no regulation like everything's crazy, but just come. You have an abundance in your garden, come and sell it.
Yeah.
You are selling a great product, come and sell it, and let your neighbors know who you are. And because it's on private land, we get to host this in the way we want to host it, and that just means come and sell and buy, sell, trade, practice getting to know your community.
And guys, I've mentioned this in previous videos, but this is the start of really a food revolution is what it is. How can we take back, you know, we've really lost agriculture in this nation so far is the local consumer has lost control of all their food. And so how do we start to take that ground back again? And that's exactly one way to do it. So I love the idea.
I think one last thing that we found interesting moving here was we moved to a very high agriculture area. You know, everyone has cows, everyone has chickens, everyone has all these things, yet majority of the population here is surviving off Dollar General. That is their grocery shopping, that's their primary food. And there's something wrong here. When I look around and there's gorgeous land and abundance of it and people actually having animals, but yet nobody's buying from a farm, they're not eating this stuff, you know? Yeah. Or they could be doing so much more with the land they have. Everyone here's got 20 acres, 50 acres, 100. Do something with that land. And so that's something we really want to make a shift is Dollar General, like make that your emergency, don't make it your primary, you know? And so I'm hoping to see that shift out here. Yep. We're missing somebody. Posey.
No, she's way over.
You want some trees? Oh. She's never had trees before. Come here, Pescadero. Oh, lols, you're gonna just take it, aren't you? Hi, buddy. Look at that. You touched my hand. Well, like I said, we have kind of a temporary garden going on right now because we have plans for a really big one in the back. We're working on building out, you know, it's kind of in the forest area, so we have an area cleared for a house, but also a really big garden and orchard out there. So, but we couldn't wait, so we always have to have a garden. So we started 2 small little plots here. This is, you know, it's end of the season, so everything's a little going wild and crazy. I have a little medicinal garden here that's been going really well. And then our main garden is over here.
And 50 acres?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, this is my little medicinal plant garden. I've got mullein and comfrey, St. John's wort, skullcap, toothache plant. This has been like the best. If you're not familiar with this plant, it's known as the toothache plant. If you have a toothache, you chew on it, it numbs your mouth really well. But I make a tincture, and like right now his knee is killing him, and he does it topically and it numbs his knee. Wow. So this has been awesome. Got some wonderful holy basil, lots of herbs scattered through here. Elecampane, which is really great for respiratory. I make tinctures out of that, and marshmallow root. So I'm really happy about my medicinal garden here.
And so y'all take these and you sell them on your trailer, your mobile?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some things if I don't have enough, then I've got to ship it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we make tinctures and salves and teas and anything.
I love the makeshift door. The arbor.
Yep.
You gotta
use those pallets.
Yes.
Well, it's end of the season, so you know, obviously everything's dying, but flower garden's going.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Super happy. Got a few weeds, but that's all right. I love it. My favorite thing is going to someone's house or when I open the store, always have a bouquet from the garden, and I love it. We got 100 meat birds going in here right now. This is Joel Salatin's design for a brooder that we did. And yeah, we actually sold out of chicken. So we ordered another 100 birds and we're like, let's just do one more round.
Okay, so something that Four Corners Ranch said was that they were sorely not prepared for the demand here. Yeah. Is that the case?
Yeah, and I think there's a combination of where we are here, you've got like the local community, born and raised, and then you have the community of people who have moved in, which is very large. There's a lot of people. I would say I have a large community I know here, and I would say 90% of everyone I know is not from here, they're from another state. Wow. Mm-hmm. So that is a big deal out here. Even though it's so weird to be in the mountains, it feels like there's nobody out here because you look around. There's a ton of people here, and there's a whole new movement happening out here. And so, yeah, they're looking for clean meat. And people are driving an hour to Knoxville to grocery shop. And that's not sustainable to have to drive an hour or more to grocery shop every week. This is our greenhouse. Everything here is mobile. So this is on skids. We move it around to depending on what the sun is. You know, we got the hot summer, so we tucked it in here under the trees for a little bit, and I just started some seeds for fall planting. Yeah, I love this. So yeah, I've got some spinach started here. It could use some water. I put them up high because right now I keep the door open because of the heat, but the chickens come in. So if I put them down on these shelves, they eat them. But in the spring, this is just like green everywhere. It's just lush with plants, and it's my favorite thing. So
how much does this weigh, you think?
We drag it around with the tractor, a couple 100 pounds.
Good idea.
Yep, so we've got hooks there and there on the front and the back, so we can move it however we want.
You do that for shade, or you do that? Why do you do
different
that?
times of the year. So summer, well, let's say late winter, early spring, it's out there in direct sun all day. Then what? Probably
when it
about
starts
June,
getting too hot, you know,
we drag it underneath the tree.
It gets pretty hot in here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just pull it under here. We can put it wherever we want to go. So when we do our big garden out in the forest, we'll probably drag this out there and make it there. So
that's cool.
That was one advice we got from Joel Salatin, was everything's mobile. So we started collecting, you can see behind here, we start collecting these little tiny rundown trailers, and then our chicken coop goes on it. We have right now this is storage because it's not pretty. Yeah. We have a feed cart, or we have, the turkey shelter, or everything is mobile, and it just makes it so much, everything's
goat shelters, everything.
All our goat shelters drag, It's nicer that way. I saw a meme the other day that resonated so well to me. It said, I am not motivated at all. I am disciplined, and sometimes you just have to get it done. And I'm like, I have no motivation to get up and do this. When I wake up, I'm not a morning person. I don't want to do this, but they're relying on me to feed them. Yeah. And once you get out there in the sunshine, you're like, all right, this isn't so bad, But you just got to get it done. And I think about my life in California, and I always think back, at the end of the day, I was totally exhausted, running around like crazy. And I think, what was I doing? I probably went to Target, did a play date, I ran this errand, I was buying supplies for some stupid party that would have made no difference if I did it. There was so much that I was doing, but it wasn't meaningful. So now, fast forward, I'm here. At the end of the day, I'm exhausted, just like I was in California. But what did I do? I grew my own food. I homeschooled my kids, or I did something with my community. I did meaningful things. So yeah, I'm still working really hard. I'm probably working harder, but what I did actually has meaning now, We started our kind of holistic living journey, started about 12 years ago. We had various family members with different illnesses, from cancer to other things. And just things something wasn't right, when we're following this through the medical system. And so slowly, just through research and different things, we started peeling back that onion and learning the truth about the systems, all the systems. And so that's where we started our first garden. And we loved the lifestyle of having a garden and curating a garden and nurturing it and harvesting, and our family just flourished in that. So that's the gateway. Chickens and garden is gateway. You start it, and then you want more, and then you want more. And so then we started having that craving for the homestead, and then we started learning that it was a necessity to raise your own food. And so we had this drive for it, but it just wasn't the right time, and it seemed weird to leave home, place we'd been born and raised. And then, when 2020 hit and everything, where we were, our state really turned upside down. And so it became unsafe. The community, if there was community, it was no longer. It was just a very oppressive place, and the crime, grew. And so we're just watching what's happening around us. And we're like, we can't live like this. We can't sustain like this. I don't want my kids in this environment. Yeah. But it also, we felt like God was calling us to go, and we weren't sure how that was going to happen. But really, we prayed about every single step of the way, and He led us. He led us here.
I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
This has been amazing. Thank you so much for having me out.
Thanks for coming.
Forage and Feast, guys, where can they find you?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram. We're working on a website. It's not up yet, but right now, if you follow us on the socials, then you'll know where the store is parked. I have a schedule that I put out there, or what workshops we're teaching next, because we're doing a lot of that this fall. Or, if you need something processed.
We're passionate about helping teach people and guide people, so we're happy to answer any questions that you have. And just go plant a garden and get a couple of meat birds. Just do it.
Yeah, just get the chickens.
Just go do it.
Just do it.
Guys, show these people some love. They're sowing their lives into this thing, pouring out their blood, sweat, and tears. So, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been amazing to see.
Great to meet you.
Wish y'all were here with me to be able to meet these beautiful people. But go subscribe to their socials, Forage and Feast Farm on Instagram.
Instagram and Facebook.
Facebook. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.